Hey, Cody here with Kevy Safety, and today we're out here with Santa Rosa Well Service. Okay, so just to give you a bit of history, just south of Austin, Texas, near the small town of Buda, a drilling rig from Santa Rosa Well Service has been hard at work for the last 40 to 50 days. Founded by Casey and Joey, this company brings years of experience to the demanding world of water well drilling. Water well drilling has a deep history in Texas, dating back to the early settlers who relied on hand-dug wells. Today, with modern rigs and technology, groundwater remains the lifeblood of the state. In fact, nearly 60% of Texas water supply comes from the underground aquifers. And you might be wondering why. So unlike lakes and rivers, which are vulnerable to drought and contamination, groundwater provides a more stable and reliable source for homes, farms, and cities. And as you can see, the work doesn't stop just because the weather gets bad.
So Santa Rosa, we offer a couple of services. We service wells and we do drilling pretty much all over Texas.
So as far as scale goes, is this one of y'all's bigger drilling rigs?
Yeah, this is our biggest rig.
Okay. Okay, so I'm guessing this is your control room where...
Yeah, it's what we call the doghouse. The guys change and we keep miscellaneous parts and stuff in here. The pace on, and we can see that screen on our phones and our iPads from anywhere. And so we kind of know what's going on. The guys give us updates. Right now the bit depth is at 1709. We can see the pump, the standpipe pressure, how many strokes a minute the pumps are doing, the torque on bit, the bit hours. It has all kinds of stuff in there. You can get in there and the guys, when they have an issue or they change tasks, they get in there and they put that they're tripping pipe and what the reason is for, so we can know what we encountered on the next hole and be more efficient. Let's go down and we'll look at this other stuff and we'll come back up.
All right, sounds good. So I'm guessing right now they're repairing something?
Yeah, one of the pumps that lifts the mud into the mud system. So it's gonna get real loud over here.
Yeah.
This is a generator house. We got a machine to build hoses in there in case we blow a hydraulic line or something. We can repair it. We try to have everything on location so we can make our own repairs. Let's cut through here and I'll show you the mud pumps, but essentially that's just a light plant right there. It's getting our generator.
Yeah.
These are the mud pumps. We run both of them. They're sucking out of this line out of the drilling bit here. So they're pulling out of this big hose and they take that mud and they send it through this line here up the top of the rig and down the drill pipe through the bit, and it brings all of our cuttings back up to the top of the surface, and it goes to that flow line into there, and then this mud system cleans it all up.
Okay.
And that's just our reserve out there for all the cuttings, pretty much all the waste to go into.
Yeah.
A centrifuge up there, that blue thing's the centrifuge.
How deep is that hole?
And that one's pretty damn big because the size of the hole, I think it's about 15 foot deep.
Okay.
But
yeah, this
you want to walk up? Let's go up on top of this mud system.
This looks a lot more complicated than what you would think would be going on into drilling a water well.
Yeah, it's a pretty big well. So these that mud when it goes out, those pumps put it over the shakers, and the shaker system shakes off all the big pieces, and it falls off of the side there. And then it's just constantly recycling this mud. This gets out that gets out real fine stuff, and this gets out fine stuff. And then we have a centrifuge that's pulling out of one of these pits, and it's spinning the mud and putting it back in. It's just another way to clean it. Yeah. You want all the solids out of the mud so you can drill efficiently.
How does the water come into play with the drilling exactly? Can you explain that a little bit better?
We're building a wall cake because we're drilling down through the well. All of this drilling mud is building a wall cake so we can keep the hole open for us. After we get that 20-inch set, we're going to cement it up, and then we won't have any more problems. We'll just have steel casing in there, and we'll go down to the next zone that is going to be our water producing zone, and we'll have that wall cake, and then we'll run some pipe, but it has slots in it. It's screen pipe,
Yeah.
And then whenever we get it set in place, we'll pump with some trimming pipe. We'll pump real fine gravel. It's like sand.
Yeah.
And it holds the sand back that the well produces. And we start thinning, we start killing this drilling mud. Once we get that trimming in there, we start pumping out, we put chlorine and things in it to start killing that wall cake. And as that wall cake's starting to dissolve, then we start pumping the gravel in the hole.
Is the wall
and we
cake
fill
basically the mud?
The mud, yeah.
Okay.
The mud is making a wall cake inside the hole.
Okay.
And then we start filling that hole from the bottom up with gravel. We'll pump through that trimming pipe, and every time it stops pumping, we'll pull a joint out, and then pump another 30 feet, and you bring it all the way up past those screens, and then the development process comes into play. We go in with swabs and swab the hole, and you're putting in stuff to kill all the mud in the hole, so you can get it to start flowing water in.
So how long is the overall process to drill a well and have it completed?
This is a pretty big hole. We would like to say they take 45 days, but there's always some things that happen and some problems. We'll probably be on this one about 60 days.
As far as the drilling rig, earlier you said that this is the biggest one that you have.
Yeah.
So I guess you have smaller ones for
We have some
smaller
smaller
jobs.
ones, and so the way you rate a drilling rig is by how much the pullback power on it. And this one will pull 250,000 pounds. We have a couple other ones that do 120,000 pounds, and then they keep on getting smaller from there, 70 and a 30,000. And you know, the drilling rig is a critical piece of equipment, but nothing works without every one of these pieces here functioning properly.
So when you're working for 90 days or 45 days or whatever, nonstop, 24 hours, you're gonna run into problems, and that's exactly what's going on right now. So you can tell that there's no workers up there right now, and that's because they're dealing with electrical problems. They're all doing different things to try to get up and running. These guys have to be kind of a jack of all trades. They gotta be able to work electrical stuff, mechanical, when it comes to water, so then you're gonna need to know how to work some pipes.
They're checking the mud qualities right now. He's gonna dip it in there and get some of the mud and check the qualities of it.
As far as the quality goes, what exactly are you looking for?
The viscosity, the water loss, and the mud weight. And the mud weight, we like to keep it about a 9 or less, and that's because the cleaning system is cleaning all the mud.
Okay. I'm guessing it's constantly changing, so you're having to monitor it every so often.
What's that?
It's constantly changing, so you're having to monitor it?
It just depends on what the formation is. It can do different things to it.
Yeah.
Drill through different types of water, and it'll change some things up. So yeah, you got the driller, you got your pit man, you got a motor man, and then you got the roughneck.
Yeah.
And the pit man, he's on top of here, and he's watching all of this stuff, making sure the mud is in order all the time. The motor man's checking all the hinges, making sure everything's running good.
Okay.
And then the roughneck, he's up there adding a joint of pipe whenever they have to add a joint of pipe. He's kind of doing wherever he needs to be.
Yeah, this seems complicated.
Let's go back up on top of the rig up there.
Okay.
This rig's kind of unique because it's pretty much an all electric rig. Not all electric, but the engine up on the top, it powers the drawworks, so the pipe can go up and down. And then what turns the drill pipe is driven by an electric motor, and it spins a hydraulic pump. So that generator's real important. And the generator goes down, there ain't nothing that works on this rig.
Oh yeah.
So the same thing is in there. He sees this computer screen, and he can put in what it wants, like torque limits, all of it. He can control everything, so you can't twist the drill pipe off by drilling too hard or fast.
Yeah.
And then all of these are all of us controlled.
So as far as drilling is you know, you always hear in the oil field all the horror stories, from the types of injuries to just, you know, bad things happening. Do y'all kind of go through some of the same stuff out here?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, everything they do, it's very dangerous.
Yeah.
Our safety man's out here always, you know, talking to the guys. The tool pushers out here, all the time. The tool pusher lives in the trailer house right there. They typically work 10 days on, 10 days off.
Yeah. And I'm sure if you've lived in Texas long enough, then you know someone that's worked in the oil field or on a drilling rig or something, and you know someone that has died or been really...
I cut a finger off when I was 4.
Yeah.
My dad owned a drilling company, and I got out.
So you got an early start to it.
I got an early start, yeah. I got out of the truck and climbed up on a pulling unit, put it where it wasn't supposed to be, and I learned my lesson real young.
Yeah.
But I've had them smashed with the tongs, and all kinds of things happen. You know, fortunately, no one's ever been hurt really bad. But you got to stay on top of the guys all the time and be very careful.
So I'm guessing you got guys that got to climb up there.
They have to go up there and grease the sheaves, and sometimes there's an issue with the top drive. They have to go up there with a harness and go and do some shit.
Yeah. I can imagine that's really dangerous, and it's been raining all day. So imagine having to climb up this. I'm guessing that, they got the safety
3
harness.
points of contact. That's what the safety man always says. Yeah, everything's slippery, everything's muddy. So we're having a little bit of trouble right now with our mud. If you can see it down there, it's kind of foamy. We're drilling through some cement. Yeah. You can see how it's foamy, and it's being a pain in the ass right now.
Yeah.
And it won't let the pumps pump, and those pumps can't lift it up because it's full of air. It's aerated.
Okay.
And so we're kind of going through that right now. But when everything's working good, it goes down that pipe, and then it brings all of our cuttings, like I was showing you earlier, over to those pumps there. And this is the V-door here. That pipe, they roll it over, they lift up the jacks, and the pipe rolls over into the tray. That skate pushes it forward, and when they come down, the elevators kick out with those hydraulic cylinders up on the top. They kick out and latch down on that joint of pipe, and they go back up, and that's how they add their joints of pipe.
How much does one of these weigh? One of these pipes right here?
21, 22 pounds per foot.
Yeah. Imagine that land on your foot or your arm or your body, or
yeah.
I don't know. You always see some of the accidents happen where the pipe goes flying out. I couldn't imagine having something like that coming out of the air.
Yeah.
Run for your life. All right, so you've seen drill bits before, but have you seen a drill bit this big? That's what's going in the ground and making that hole. Sheer treachery. All right, so Casey just went through all the machines and how everything works, and it's way more complicated than I ever thought it could be, and I was struggling to follow along. So Joe is going to actually go through and explain it further.
I know you guys kind of looked around at our equipment, but what's actually happened in this process, it's a little bit, you can make it pretty simple, even though everything looks pretty complicated. The whole point of it is, go in, you drill a hole that's a little bit bigger than your pipe, put that pipe in there, you cement that pipe in the hole, make sure you're not commingling any of the different water zones and maybe messing up the quality of a good aquifer with something that, may have a bunch of salts in it or something else that might degrade that water. You put that pipe in there, at the bottom of that pipe, you generally have screens that allow that water to come through, and you put your pump in the hole. But how does this drilling process happen? You're seeing this big machine here. You have, obviously, your drill string. So your drill pipe with a bit on the bottom that's grinding out all the dirt from that hole. You need to have something to lift that out of the hole as you're digging it. So you have mud pumping down that pipe, it's viscous enough, you mess with the viscosity so that it will be able to carry all that dirt out of the hole. It essentially comes out of the hole, that mud with the cuttings, goes into our mud system. That mud system cleans all of those fluids. It gets all the cuttings, throws them out, saves the old fluid, and then we treat that fluid to get it to where the solids are all falling out of it. Pump it back in the hole, and you just repeat the process. And you try to save that mud so you're not, you want to reuse the same stuff the whole way down. Once you kind of look at it, break it down, it's not that complicated, but...
Yeah, there's a lot of complicated machinery involved, but
Absolutely.
I guess the overall process really isn't that complicated. So that about wraps it up. Hopefully you have a better understanding of what all goes into drilling a water well. Most of the time when I think about drilling water wells, I just never realized how big the drilling rigs could actually be. I've seen some small ones around Sweetwater, Texas, where we're based out of. So seeing what all goes into drilling a water well for a big water supplier is a lot more complicated and interesting than I ever thought. Hopefully this gives you the big picture of not only how complicated this can be and how tough the job can be, but how important it is to making the world move. You know, you can't survive without water, and so these guys from Santa Rosa Well Service are making it happen.